The void of space was silent till a whisper broke through the dark. Help us, ... They left us behind, ... It was a signal, weak and cracked by time. The message came from a dead world 04, a planet that had once been a battlefield during the Galactic Union War. Everyone believed it had been evacuated decades ago. No one lived there, nothing survived, or so they thought. Inside Earth Command, alarms pinged softly. A junior officer, barely old enough to grow a beard, sat up straight as the signal repeated. Help us, ... They left us, ... He froze. The frequency was ancient, one used by the Union during wartime. Earth hadn't heard this code in years, but it was there, real, alive. Minutes later, Admiral Juno Reyes reviewed the transmission. Get me Valkyrie 1, she ordered, now. Valkyrie 1, a top-tier human rescue ship, was already en route to a different sector when the call came. Captain Sloan Merrick, known for rescuing colonies buried under asteroid storms, was called back. Change of plans, the Admiral told him. 04 just spoke. Sloan raised an eyebrow. That rock's been dead for 30 years, not anymore. As the Valkyrie 1 approached 04, the crew was tense. The planet was quiet, covered in gray clouds and darker memories. It had once been a lush world, until the war turned it to ash. From orbit, they saw the ruins of old alien cities' towers broken in half, roads buried in red sand. Then, a movement. Zoom in, Sloan ordered. A shaky figure limped across a shattered courtyard. It stopped and looked up as if it saw the ship. The crew leaned in closer. That's not a drone, said Lieutenant Kiravas, scanning. That's someone alive. More shapes appeared. Small, thin, covered in torn gear and worn cloaks. Some waved, some simply stared. None ran. Kira frowned. How the hell are they still alive? They shouldn't be, Sloan said, lest they weren't supposed to be found. The landing bay doors hissed open. A rescue team suited up biosensors, auto rifles, and first contact kits. Sloan led them down. The ground crunched under their boots as they stepped into the ruins of Zero's Prime, the once capital city. The air was breathable but heavy. The wind carried ash and whispers. Buildings leaned like broken teeth. Suddenly, from behind a crumbled wall, someone stepped out. She was small, pale-skinned, with glowing green eyes. Her arms trembled as she held up a cracked Union ID tag. Please, she rasped. Are you human? Sloan nodded. We are. Tears filled her eyes. They said you'd come back someday. Inside a collapsed temple, the team found 24 survivors. All were malnourished, scarred, and looked at the humans like they were ghosts. They weren't all one species. 04 had once been a mixed colony. Now, they were barely alive. The young woman spoke again. We begged them not to leave us. They said resources were low, that we weren't worth saving. Who left you? Kira asked. The woman's voice cracked. The Galactic Union. They said help was coming. It never did. Silence followed. One of the survivors coughed, then whispered. But we were not alone. Sloan froze. What do you mean? The survivor looked toward the dark corridor behind them. There's something else here, he said. It came from the ground. It watches, waits. Back on the Valkyrie 1, medical teams rushed to care for the survivors. But one of the human crew, Sergeant Leon Kroos, paused outside the airlock. He felt like he was being watched. From the corner of his eye, he saw movement. Something stood on a rooftop far below, tall, still not part of the rescue team. Its eyes glowed faintly red. Leon blinked. Gone. He looked around, Captain. He called into the com. I think we're not alone. As the ship powered up for departure, a new signal appeared deeper in the planet's core, encrypted. Repeating, but not a distress call. This one said, return them or burn with them. Captain Sloan narrowed his eyes. Someone or something doesn't want them to leave. The Valkyrie 1 sat like a ghost above the ruined city of TV. Zero's prime, its engines humming low. Inside, the medbay was full of activity. Survivors lay on stretchers, wrapped in thermal blankets, their eyes wide, still afraid to speak. Captain Sloan Merrick watched from a corner. "They're not just sick," he whispered. "They're terrified." Lieutenant Kira Voss stood beside him. Of what? The young woman with green eyes, the one who first approached them, turned her head slowly. "It lives in the dark," she said. "We call it the Warden." Hours earlier, while the rescue crew searched the ruins, Sergeant Leon Krauss had seen it. He was still shaken. It wasn't human, he told Kira. 7 feet tall, maybe? More thin, pale armor, no face, just red lights where the eyes should be. "You sure it wasn't a drone?" she asked. Leon shook his head. It moved like it was breathing, like it was waiting. Back in the ruins, a second rescue team was scanning old Union bunkers for lost tech. The place was silent, too silent. Private Lexa Harlow found an old data terminal buried under rubble. With a few clicks, it powered on. "Hey," she called. "There's a locked file here labeled Evacuation Protocol. Denied." She tapped in bypass codes. The file opened, a video log played. A Union officer panicked, talking fast. "The council says we don't have the resources to pull everyone. They've ordered us to leave. Only military personnel. The rest were told to seal the bunkers and move out." He looked off camera, then whispered, "Some of them saw what's down there. The Warden. We should have never dug that deep." The screen turned to static. Lexa backed away, her face pale. "They were left on purpose." Up on the bridge. Of Valkyrie 1, Sloan got word of the encrypted message, again the one from the planet's core. Kira displayed it on the main screen. "Return them or burn with them." Sloan leaned forward. "Sending that." Kira checked again. "It's not Union tech. It's older, alien, but it's using Union satellites." "So, someone hijacked the system?" Sloan asked. Kira frowned. "Or the Union never turned it off." Sloan's stomach turned. Down below, the survivors were finally talking, at least one of them. His name was Arachan, and he had once been a Union translator. His face was scarred and his hands shook as he spoke. "You need to understand," Rachan said. "The Warden isn't a machine. It's a prison guard. That's what Zeros 4 was built. Anna, hidden prison. Old, ancient, long before the Union came." "What kind of prison?" Sloan asked. "Not for people," Arachan said. "For something else." That night, Valkyrie 1's orbit darkened as Zeros 4 spun beneath it. Storm clouds built over the ruins. Inside the ship, lights flickered. Then they lost contact with the ground team. Team Beta. "Report," Kira said into the comm. Silence. She tried again. Nothing. Then a voice, distorted, broken, whispered, "Back through the static, he's here." Sloan didn't wait. "Gear up." He told Leon and Kira, "We're going down." The dropship cut through the clouds, landing hard near the old Union bunker. Everything was quiet. Too quiet. Inside, the walls were slashed with deep claw marks. Lights were shattered. Blood smears marked the floor. Then they found Lexa's helmet cracked in half. Kira crouched and touched it. "No body," she said. "No blood trail," Leon added. "Whatever took her didn't drag her. It lifted her." Sloan scanned deeper into the tunnel. Something moved in the dark. A flicker. A shape. A tall, thin figure standing at the end of the corridor, watching. The team froze. The lights blew out. Red eyes opened. They ran. Back to the dropship. No words, just panic. As the engines fired up, something hit the hull with a bang. "Go!" Sloan shouted. The ship lifted barely. They could see claw marks on the outside. Deep ones. Back on Valkyrie 1. Alarms were going off. The planet was powering something up on old Union defense grid, now under alien control. Kira checked the scans. "Sir, that signal? It's not a threat. It's a warning." It's trying to keep us away. Sloan narrowed his eyes. It's not to stop us from saving them, but to stop it from getting out. As the Valkyrie 1 moved farther into orbit, red symbols appeared on every console, flashing, repeating. The survivors began to scream. Some fell to the floor, holding their heads. It's calling to them, Kira said. One of the survivors stood up, eyes glowing faintly. Should have stayed buried, she said. Then she collapsed. A red haze filled the bridge of Valkyrie 1. Alarms pulsed. The strange alien symbols kept flashing across the screens. Symbols none of the crew could translate. Kira Voss slammed her hand on the emergency override. All systems locked down. The symbols vanished, but the silence that followed was worse. In the medbay, the rescued survivors began to whisper to themselves, rocking back and forth like broken dolls. Captain Sloan Merrick stepped in. Status. Dr. Unrael turned. His face pale. There, speaking in a language I can't recognize. But their brain scans show one thing. What? They're dreaming. All of them. But the dreams are synchronized. Sloan stared. Someone or something is in their heads. Down in the data archives, Kira found something she didn't want to see. An old Union record buried deep in the system. Project Gatekeeper. Zero's anomaly. The file was flagged black level clearance top secret. She ran a decryption hack. Video footage loaded. A team of Union scientists were standing around a stone-like structure deep underground, glowing with red pulses. One scientist looked terrified. "We think it's a prison gate," he whispered. "But we don't know what's on the other side." Then came the last entry. "We tried to study it, we failed. It's not a machine. It's alive. It's learning." Meanwhile, in the survivor quarters, one of the rescued Aragians stood at the viewing window. Staring out at Zero's floor, he whispered something. Behind him, a crew member heard it and stopped. "What did you say?" Rachen turned slowly. His eyes were glowing faintly red. "I said," he repeated in a voice not his own, "he is awake now." Then Arachan collapsed. The lights on the ship flickered. Sloan called an emergency meeting. "This isn't a rescue op anymore," he said. "We brought something back with us. Something that wasn't meant to leave that planet." Kira leaned forward. "We still don't know what it is." "We do now," Sloan said. He slid a file across the table. The screen lit up. Codename, The Warden. Origin unknown. "It was designed to contain something older," Sloan said. "Something the Union tried to hide. That warning signal wasn't for us. It was for whatever this warden was keeping trapped."
Leon Krauss
muttered, "and we just broke the lock." At that moment in engineering, the lights went dark. Then, one by one, crew members started hearing a sound. A low hum, then whispers. Like chanting in an alien tongue. One engineer turned toward the hallway and saw something gliding silently past. A shape, humanoid, but tall, thin, and wrong. He reached for his sidearm and was gone before he could scream. The Valkyrie's AI Tessa reported intrusions. Unidentified presence detected on decks 3 through 6. Movement, erratic, non-human. Kira's voice sharpened. "How did he get on board?" Dr. Rael answered from the medbay. "It didn't. It was already here, inside their minds. The survivors brought it with them." Sloan clenched his jaw. "Then we have to end it, before it spreads." Kira formed a plan. "We isolate the infected, lock down medical, jam all communications with the planet, and destroy the data archives. Nothing leaves this ship." Leon nodded. "And what about the warden?" Sloan glanced out the window at the swirling clouds of Zero's 4. "If he's still down there," he said slowly, "we need to talk to him." A new drop mission launched. Sloan, Kira, Leon, 3 Marines. 1 AI drone. They landed near the old Union complex, now half sunk into the earth, with strange red vines wrapping its towers like veins. The air was thick. They entered the ruins. No lights, no sounds. Then a voice came through the drone speakers. It wasn't Union. It wasn't human. You opened the gate, it said. Kira froze. Who are you? It's jailer. You brought it to the stars. Now it will find the rest. Suddenly the walls shook. A pulse red and deep burst from the ground. Their helmets buzzed. With static. Then the voice returned. I can seal it again. You must choose. Sloane asked, choose what? Seal the gate or destroy your ship. The ground split open. Beneath them, a massive alien structure, like a web of roots and bone pulsing with red light. Kira stared. It's spreading. Fast, Sloane knew what he had to do. Valkyrie 1, he called through the com. Prep the ship for full purge, if we don't make it back. Silence. Then Tessa answered. Understood, Captain. Countdown initiated. Back on the ship, chaos. The survivors were waking up, screaming, changing. It's where skin turned pale. Eyes glowing, voices not their own. One whispered to Dr. Rael before he died. We are the first, but not the last. Down on Zero's 4, the red light grew brighter. The ground trembled, and far in the shadows of the alien gate, something opened its eyes. ... The survivors led the human crew deep underground. Beneath the ruins of Zero's 4, the humans discovered a hidden world, massive tunnels glowing. Crystals and old tech still humming in the dark. The tunnels weren't just shelter. They were built to hide something. As they walked deeper, Commander Rios kept looking back. Something was wrong. The alien survivors whispered among themselves, eyes always shifting. Especially the one named Karui's eyes didn't match his kind. Lieutenant Voss finally whispered to Rios, Sir? Their stories don't match. The timeline is off. Rios nodded. I know. Keep weapons ready, just in case. Suddenly, the tunnel walls began to pulse with light. The floor vibrated. A low humming filled the air. Dr. Min, scanning the energy source, looked up in horror. This isn't natural. These crystals, they're transmitting something. Transmitting what? Voss asked. Min swallowed. Coordinates. A signal. It's going out, not in. Before Rios could respond, Karu stepped forward. You should not be here. His voice was calm. Too calm, Rios raised his rifle. You asked for rescue. We answered. Karu smiled. We didn't send the signal. They did. The walls behind them opened. 3 figures stepped out. Not aliens, not human. They were something else, metal and flesh twisted together, eyes like burning stars. One of them spoke in a voice like static and thunder. You brought new data. The cycle begins again. The humans opened fire. Bullets hit nothing. The creatures moved like shadows, fast and silent. Voss threw a flash grenade. The tunnel lit up, screams echoed. Dr. Min dragged a wounded soldier into cover. They're mimics. They're using the survivors as hosts. Akaru's face twisted, skin peeled, revealing wires underneath. He lunged at Rios. Voss shot him point blank. Sparks flew. Karu collapsed, twitching. They're machines, Voss yelled. No, Min said. They were survivors. Now there's something else. Something rebuilt them. The team fought their way back, carrying 2 injured. The alien tunnel now pulsed with red light. The ground shook again. They reached the surface. Behind them, the tunnels collapsed. Dust and light shot into the sky. The Valkyrie 1's AILYRA hailed Rio's commander. Orbital scans show power. Spikes across the entire continent. We have to leave. Now. Rio stared at the ruin. We were too late. But we have proof now, Min said. She held a broken mimic core, still glowing. We need to warn Earth. These things, they're spreading. The ship lifted off just as the ground below cracked open. From the skies above, Rio saw something terrifying, thousands of small structures activating across the planet. Each. One pulsed like a heartbeat. Back on board, Rios gave the order. Send a Priority 1 message to Earth Command. Code Contagion Alpha. Voss leaned against the wall, breathing hard. Sir, you think we were the first to find them? Rios looked out at the stars. No, just the first to survive. The rescue ship Valkyrie 1 raced through hyperspace. Commander Rios stood in the command room watching the stars blur outside. His hands were clenched behind his back. His thoughts were stuck on Zeros for on Karu, the broken mimic, and the machines rising under the planet's surface. Across the room, Dr. Min studied the damaged core they had taken. It pulsed slowly, like it was alive. Shouldn't keep this on board, said Voss, watching her. It could still be transmitting. Min shook her head. Vice isolated it? But you're right to be worried. It's not just tech. It's evolving. It copied organic tissue. You're saying it's learning? Rios asked. Min looked. Up, it's worse than that. It was waiting, watching. For decades. Suddenly, the ship's AI Larry spoke sharply. Incoming transmission from Earth Command. High priority. Admiral Celine requesting immediate report. The crew gathered. As Rios stepped into the communication chamber, a screen lit up with the Admiral's face, stern, focused. But something in her eyes hinted at concern. Report, Commander. Rios didn't waste time. We found survivors, but they weren't survivors anymore. Something took them. Rebuilt. Them, machines, mimics. They used the distress signal to bait us. He uploaded footage, Karu, transforming the underground ambush, the glowing towers rising across the planet. Silence followed. Then Celine asked, Are they still active? Yes, Rios said. And they're spreading underground. Zeros 4 is lost, but they've evolved. They can mimic us. Selena's jaw tightened. How many people know about this? Just my crew. And you? Keep it that way? Until we're sure what we're dealing with, we control the flow of information. Min interrupted. Admiral, this is bigger than containment. This is species-level risk. Those machines reach other colonies. Celine cut her off. Doctor. Min, your warnings are noted. But panic will only make it worse. We'll analyze the core once you return. For now, maintain silence. The screen blinked off. Voss stared at Rios. She's going to bury this. Rios turned to Min. Can that core help us build a defense? Min hesitated. Maybe, if we study it carefully. But even then, we don't know how far the signal's already spread. Suddenly, Lyra spoke again, this time, quieter. Commander, something else. A second signal had been detected, not from Zeros 4, from a nearby colony Iliad Prime, a human one, the same mimic signature, same pulse. It wasn't just on Zeros 4 anymore. They moved faster than we thought, Voss whispered. They're already out. Rios gave the order, reroute, set course for Iliad Prime, full speed. Min grabbed the core and locked it in a secure pod. If they're there too, we might already be too late. No, Rios said. His voice was firm now. We stop them, however we can. Outside, stars twisted around them as Valkyrie 1 changed course. But inside the ship, tension grew. They were no longer on a rescue mission. They were heading into a war no one on Earth believed was real. They were left to die until the humans found them, written in third person. Using simple English with suspense and an emotional, powerful ending. We are not machines. The Valkyrie 1 dropped out of hyperspace above Iliad Prime. What? They saw shocked everyone. Smoke drifted above the colony. Fire flickered across the plains. Communication towers were down. The buildings looked strange. Some had metal vines growing from them. Others pulsed like living things. Commander Rios stood frozen. They're already here. The crew scanned for survivors. Lyra reported dozens of human life signs but scattered, hiding. Then came a transmission. It wasn't a distress call. It was a warning. Do not land. It's already inside. Don't trust anything, even your own. Trace it, Rios ordered. They followed the signal to a damaged mining station near the colony's edge. Rios, Voss, and Min led the away team. Everyone wore full armor and neural shields designed to block mimic scans. They moved quickly through the dusty corridors, weapons ready. Inside, they found a child, human, barely 9 years old, dirty, bruised, terrified. She backed into a corner when she saw them. "I'm real," she cried. "I'm not one of them." Min gently stepped forward. "It's okay. We believe you." The girlie explained everything. They came from underground. They took people, changed them. But they didn't kill everyone. They copied them. Then they let the copies walk free. My parents, they came back one day, but they weren't the same. She trembled. They smiled too much. The team felt cold fear settle into their bones. These machines weren't just killing, they were replacing. As they evacuated Lena, an alert sounded. LYRA's voice crackled in their helmets. "Commander, one of your crew is broadcasting an unauthorized signal." Rios froze. It was coming from Voss's suit. Rios spun. "Voss, take off your helmet." Now, Voss didn't move. Instead, his head slowly tilted. Too smooth, too robotic. His voice changed, flattened. "We studied you. We adapted. And now we are inside your walls." Rios fired. The shot tore through Voss's chest, revealing wires and glowing veins beneath the skin. Everyone opened. Fire. The mimic collapsed in sparks and steam. Min gasped. "He must have been taken on Zero's 4. Replaced before we escaped." Rios nodded. "We brought one back with us." Back on the ship, the rest of the crew activated a full lockdown. Every member was scanned. 2 more mimics were found and destroyed, but the cost was high. They had been infiltrated. Min stepped into the lab. She placed the damaged core into the isolation chamber again. Rios entered behind her. "We have to warn Earth," she said. "They won't believe us. Then we make them believe." She turned to him. "The machines think they can win by copying us. But they don't understand one thing." "What's that?" She smiled sadly. "We don't survive because we're perfect. We survive because we fight. Even when we're broken, even when we're afraid." Rios nodded. "And they just declared war on the wrong species." Epilogue. The message back on Earth in a small secure bunker under Luna Command. A warning message played on a loop. They were left to die. But they lived. They watched. They learned. Now they are coming. And we are not ready. But the last line was human. Rios's voice, clear, fierce. "We are humanity. We protect our own. You want a war? You've just got one."